that in the old days when this was written, and it's still true to a large degree in Indian society, although it's becoming less and less prevalent, you didn't just do what you wanted to do. Our societies are desire-oriented. In other words, our idea is your life is getting what you want from the Dharma field. So we're desire-oriented, which means that all the responsibility for our decisions lies with us. But you, the person, with the jiva, with the ego. This is why there's so much stress, because the jiva doesn't understand all the factors that are involved in action, and particularly the results of action. So when an individual jiva acts, he or she always has a doubt, always has anxiety about whether it's the right thing to do or not, whether it's the right course of action or not. But if you follow a dharmic system, you don't have that anxiety, because you just do what you're told. That's all. Huh? All your decisions are based upon the scripture. So the scripture tells you this is how you do it. And well, obviously that doesn't work for us, right? Because we're all rebels and individualists, and desire is the most important thing to us, getting what we want. So we're not interested in following the rules. Vedika Dharma just means all these rules of how to live. They're really good rules. They're really sensible rules. They're really logical, and they produce a very, very dignified, cultured, mature person very quickly. There's a young boy that I've been putting through school for the last 10 years in India, and he was actually a mature adult by the time he was 12, 10, 12, 13. He never went through that whole teenage thing and all that neurosis and all that stuff. He was come from a family that followed Vedika Dharma, and so he just did what he was supposed to do. And he was like totally self-confident. He could deal with adults 3 times his age. He was always calm and peaceful. He knew exactly what he needed to do at any time. And so he just did it. You know, when the hormones started kicking up, he just knew that that was not, it didn't fit into what? Into the plan. So he just wasn't interested in girls. He wasn't surfing the porn sites and all of that sort of thing and checking out the girls. He was just doing his studies and doing his duty. So when this was written, most of the India people were following Vedika Dharma. They were ritualists. So the question is, what are the basis of the values of people who do rituals? We don't do religious rituals, we do worldly rituals. We have our routines, our habits. And it doesn't matter whether you follow a secular lifestyle or a spiritual or sacred lifestyle. The Gunas are still going to control everything. Okay, so everything you think and feel and value is controlled by the Gunas. So these verses are just little insights. It applies to the Gunas apply to every single aspect of your life. So you don't have to, you use this analysis just to look at every aspect. He's just covering certain important aspects of your life in this one, but the Guna model applies to everything. Sri Bhagavan said, Bhagavan means Krishna or the self. Self is talking here. People's priorities and values depend upon whether their minds are sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic. People are little more than their gunas, than their priorities and values. They're not much more to people. This is why, if you understand the Guna model, you can pretty much predict and tell exactly how anybody's going to behave. You can understand, you learn their gunas, and it doesn't take long to figure out what their gunas are. You can just almost 100% predict how they'll behave. Because the gunas just condition us to behave and think and feel in a certain way. People, so in other words, they're unconscious forces. And the point of all this inquiry is to bring what's unconscious in you, or what's unknown in you, bring it to light. Bring it into your conscious mind, into your subtle body, so that you can work on it. If you don't, if that unconscious stuff isn't brought up and considered, then it's going to continue to affect you negatively. It's going to continue to control you. But if you can examine your unconscious carefully and using this model, then you can what? That will clear these problems. You don't have to do anything about the problems apart from just inquiring into them and looking at your values and priorities in light of this three guna model and in light of what you're trying to achieve spiritually. Well, we're trying to achieve moksha. So that's the standard by which we evaluate every thought and feeling. We look at every thought and feeling and see, does this contribute to peace of mind and ultimately to my discovery of myself as awareness, as whole and complete awareness. So it's simply, if you want therapy, if you're interested in therapy, this is the most simple and direct therapy there is, basically. I would love to have some kind of reputation or power or something to speak to get these ideas into the psychological world, because quite a number of people interested in Vedanta are psychological types, usually psychologists, some psychiatrists, often life counselors and this kind of thing, giving counseling, and almost everyone has told me that their knowledge of the gunas has had a remarkable effect on their practice, even with teenagers and young people. Even teenagers and young people understand this very well. It's because it's just part of your experience that you don't really consider, and so by bringing light to this, it gives you a tremendous amount of control over your jiva, over your life and your lifestyle. So.